This is called Homelander. He's very powerful, all perfect, and he is loved by everyone.
Come on now.
A being of immense power and superiority, who actually views humanity with contempt and disdain, seeing them as insignificant, fragile creatures. To him, people are little more than ants, easily crushed. He perceives himself as a god, the pinnacle of evolution, above morality and human concerns.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
But here's the trick. Despite this overwhelming arrogance and detachment, there is always an insatiable hunger within him, a desperate need for adoration, love, and validation. A being who, while holding humanity in contempt, craves their acceptance and worship.
I want them to love me.
This need is not merely superficial, it's the fuel that drives his ego. On one hand, he's indifferent to human life, ready to destroy or manipulate because in his eyes, humans are nothing more than tools or obstacles. But on the other hand, he's obsessed with maintaining an image of benevolence. Within Homelander's character and perhaps within each of us lies a paradoxical truth. Even in our disdain or hatred for others, there is an underlying need for their presence in our lives. This dynamic isn't just about power or superiority, it's about the deeper psychological need to be validated, and even by those we claim to despise. This contradiction reveals a profound psychological layer about human beings, or human's nature. Our enemies, or those we hold in contempt, often occupy a significant space in our minds. There's a part of us that even in hatred wants to prove something, to be seen, to be acknowledged, and ultimately to be invaded. Talking about others and their interactions in our lives, Sartre argued that maybe our sense of self is not only formed in isolation, where the gaze of another person forces us to see ourselves as an object in their world. This moment of recognition is crucial because it makes us aware of ourselves in a way that we cannot achieve alone, even if this realization comes from the person that you really despise or hate, or you seem not to care about. We might tell ourselves that the opinions of those we dislike don't matter, but Sartre would argue this denial is itself an acknowledgement of their influence. In trying somehow to convince ourselves that we don't care, we inadvertently reveal how much their gaze continues to affect our sense of self. Hegel's master-slave dialectic thinks the recognition of self-consciousness between two individuals often framed as a master and slave. Because according to Hegel, self-consciousness arises only through the recognition of another self-consciousness. The master seeks to assert dominance over the slave, believing that this will affirm their own superiority and independence. The master quickly realizes that the true recognition cannot come from someone they deem inferior. But what is funny here that the master trapped in a dependency on slave's recognition, because the master can only be a master in a slave's eyes, which makes the master needs this recognition even from a slave that he thinks he doesn't care about. Carl Jung, a prominent figure in analytical psychology, introduced the concept of the shadow as a key element of human psyche. The shadow represents the unconscious parts of ourselves that we reject or do not acknowledge, often because they are seen as negative or socially unacceptable. It consists of all the parts of ourselves that we have not fully integrated into our conscious awareness. When we do not acknowledge our shadow, we are likely to project these denied aspects into others. This projection of this shadow is a psychological defense mechanism. We might perceive others as being hostile or aggressive, even if they are not. This often means that the traits we dislike or hate in others, they are in fact reflections of aspects of ourselves that we have not yet come to terms with. Maybe this projection is more profound than just a defense mechanism, and as described Carl Jung, where we displace our own insecurities and acknowledgement traits into others around us, when we try to impress those others, maybe we are not just seeking their approval, we are seeking a reconciliation with the parts of ourselves that we struggle to accept. Homelander, for example, he despises humanity for its weakness and mediocrity, which he sees as something beneath him. These are the qualities he fears in himself. The master can only see himself as superior through the eyes of the slave, just as Homelander can only affirm his greatness through the admiration and recognition of those he despises. Homelander's need for recognition is not just about ego, it's about reconciling the tension within himself. By seeking the approval of those he considers weak, he's trying to silence the part of him that he fears he might share in that weakness. His hatred of others is a mirror reflecting his own self-doubt, and their recognition serves as a way to soothe that doubt, to affirm the image of himself that he desperately wants to believe in. And maybe, as we are, the people we hate are not just adversaries, they are crucial to our self-understanding. Their presence forces us to confront the parts of ourselves that we would rather deny, pushing us towards a deeper, more honest with who we are.